was coined by feminists in the search for language that reflects the ways in which we have experienced ourselves as women, with the state, with infrastructures of patriarchy. Then quickly, the UN and the donors and the conservatives in the academy, they squeezed the concept, made it a binary concept, made it heteronormative.
O próprio Ministério do Gênero, nesse contexto, não olha para a questão do gênero como uma questão binária. E se existe essa exclusão do próprio Ministério do Gênero, não existirão políticas públicas abrangentes, né, que vão trazer demandas para mudanças.
You always have people saying, "Oh, we had one or two women in the group, so gender is okay." Yes, gender is okay.
It's like a box that you tick. When people think about gender budgeting, gender mainstreaming, and a lot of times it doesn't translate into tangible results.
Changing the idea of empowerment also by working intersectionally to strengthen education, health, access to job, access to land. And those are some of the areas that are kind of abandoned to the local politics.
Those are things that governments have committed to doing in the first place. So really calling them out on their failure to do it is not so much of a controversial issue.
You have the anti-imperialist position, with people saying, okay, gender ideology, it's a Western thing, we don't need it here.
So first of all, we need to reclaim a lot of our history. A lot of concepts like gender were much more fluid in our cultural context. You look back and you have examples of people who existed outside gender, who were trans, and people who were in same-sex relationships, So all those things existed. I think that feminism that the African women are practicing is really a reclaiming of what was previously taken from them.
Não há entendimento claro do que é gênero. E quando se fala numa sala, é um espaço onde praticamente gladeia-se. Os homens levantam os problemas contra as mulheres levantam os problemas contra o homem.
Mas por que nós não podemos sentar numa mesa juntas para pegar aquilo que são os nossos problemas? Por que nós não podemos olhar para aquilo que é a nossa legislação e tentamos desenhar uma política que possa servir de base, uma política que nós podemos olhar como aliados para aquilo que são as nossas demandas?
What happens when women enter the public and combine the issues that define them in particular ways through patriarchy, and we fight for our personhood by rejecting patriarchy, and we bring that consciousness to the justice systems, we then create this connection between gender as being about us and justice being about humanity, being about freedom, being about the wholeness of the person. So gender justice is a very crucial concept for us when we think about how we are going to reconstitute, reconfigure, reimagine new societies, alternatives to this present situation.
É importante que seja trazida a reflexão esta questão dos papéis, a nível da família, a nível da comunidade, as instituições sociais como as lideranças comunitárias, a mídia, os grupos dos amigos, etc. Se nós todos não temos o mesmo entendimento, também não estaremos a ir para o lado nenhum. Portanto, se nós queremos resolver os problemas da desigualdade de género, é importante envolver os homens como parceiros neste processo.
People don't understand this gender thing, So we need to bring this into society and make it what it is, a civil rights issue.
But how do we mainstream, for example, radical feminist politics? What does it look like to actually be deliberate about not reshaping our message, right? To make it more palatable.
The change has to be conceptual, but it also has to be about understanding the infrastructures of patriarchy and capitalism.
You can't have a conversations about dismantling the systems that hold patriarchy without addressing the use of religion and culture in so many of our societies to perpetuate harm against women, right?
If you want to have a big impact, you need to understand and mitigate the roots of gender norms.
Because if we don't understand the structures and the ideological drivers of capitalism and of patriarchy, we won't be able to read the context in new, radical ways that make transformation a much more vibrant and dynamic process, rather than transformation being the old language of preserving capitalism, the status quo, the privilege of the elites.